The universe is enormous. Hundreds of billions of galaxies, each one holding hundreds of billions of stars. And for over 60 years, we have been listening, pointing radio telescopes at the sky, searching for any signal, any sign, any proof that we are not alone. And so far, silence. Not a single confirmed signal, not one, which raises a strange question. If the universe is this big, where is everyone? Scientists call this the Fermi paradox. There are many theories, but one is stranger than the rest. What if advanced civilizations are out there, and we simply don't know how to recognize them? What if we're listening for whispers, when we should be looking for something far louder? To understand that, we need to talk about a scale built to measure something almost nobody thinks about. Not intelligence, not technology, not culture, but power. Specifically, how much energy a civilization can control. In 1964, Soviet astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev proposed it. His logic was simple. Everything a civilization builds, every rocket, every city, every machine, requires energy. So if you want to measure how advanced a civilization truly is, measure how much of it they control. Kardashev divided this into 3 levels. Type 1, Type 2, Type 3. Each one almost incomprehensibly more powerful than the last. So where does humanity fall? Years later, Carl Sagan refined the idea, adding decimal points for precision. Using his formula, he found that humanity sits at approximately 0.73, not Type 1. 0.73. We use about 18 terawatts of energy a year. To reach Type 1, we'd need close to 10,000 times more. In other words, we are just getting started. So what would Type 1 look like? A civilization that captures every source of energy on its home planet. Every beam of sunlight, every gust of wind, every wave crashing on every coast, every volcano, every storm. At this level, the planet stops being a place you simply live. It becomes a system you operate, weather-controlled, hurricanes redirected, earthquakes anticipated before they strike. How do we get there? Fusion power, planet-scale energy grids, a level of global cooperation we've never achieved. Most scientists estimate 100 to 200 years, which means someone watching this right now might live to see it. But Type 1 is only step 1. A Type 2. Civilization doesn't stop at a planet. It claims a star. Every second, our sun releases more energy than humanity has used across all of recorded history. In 1960, physicist Freeman Dyson proposed a way to capture it. A massive structure built around an entire star. Today we call it a Dyson sphere. With that power, a civilization could travel between star systems, sustain artificial worlds, build structures that make our greatest achievements look like sandcastles. Reaching this could take thousands of years, possibly tens of thousands. But for a civilization that already commands its planet, that might not feel as long as you'd think. And then, there's Type 3. It doesn't stop at one star. It commands an entire galaxy, every star, every system, every drop of energy it produces. The Milky Way alone holds between 200 and 400 billion stars. A Type 3 civilization would command everyone. What would that look like? Honestly, we don't fully know. At this scale, the line between science and magic disappears. They could move stars like pieces on a board, reshape entire systems, build constructs so vast, our entire planet wouldn't just appear small. It would be invisible. This could take millions of years, possibly hundreds of millions. Now, back to that question from the beginning. If civilizations like this exist, why haven't we heard anything? Here's the unsettling possibility. A Type 3 civilization wouldn't need to send a signal. They would already be the message, written into the structure of the galaxy itself, into the motion of stars, into patterns far too vast for our instruments to register. We've been listening for a whisper, when the loudest sound in the universe might be something we don't have the vocabulary to recognize yet. But here's what makes this exciting, not unsettling. As far as we know, we are the only species in this galaxy that has ever asked this question. The only one consciously trying to measure its own power, trying to climb every solar panel, every fusion reactor, every breakthrough in clean energy. They're rungs on a ladder that stretches across the galaxy. We are at 0.73, barely past zero. But for the first time in the history of life on this planet, something is climbing on purpose. And maybe, billions of years from now, some other young civilization will point their instruments at the stars, searching for a sign that someone, somewhere, made it. And find us.